Thank you very much, sir, for your insights. Let's talk about the other aspect of under social category, which is corporate social responsibility, which you are an expert of, right? So, so we have seen in the last about 10 years or so, CSR has become a mandate. This is a 2% game, and now last year the regulations have been amended significantly. So one of the key aspect is the impact assessment of social initiatives. Also, kindly share your kindly share your thoughts on how CSR has changed the game, in the sustainability aspect, and what are your thoughts on social return on investment or social impact evaluation? Your experience, your gyan, your
No, no.
insights
What
to
I
the
have done,
audience.
I can explain you on those lines.
Yes.
So we all know 2014, 1st April onwards, CSR Act came live on ground zero. But it was before that, it was passed by Lok Sabha before it went to President for the approvals, and before that it was Rajya Sabha. When it got passed by the Rajya Sabha, I went to my own MD here, Mr. K.K. Kaura said, something is coming, let's do a committee on this. So on record, ACC Cement was the Indian first company, listed company, to have board committee on CSR. 2013, December 1st meeting took place. Means two meeting took place before the law was came into. So in industry, we say, if you are going into industry, you are bound to wear a safety suit. Mandatory, na? Either you wear it from your home or the security guard who hold you at the gate, वो force करेगा पहनो तभी छोड़ेंगे. Choice is yours. So always being proactive in sector helps. Second, on this law, like we were talking about the impact assessment, now it went mandatory. I met a lady from Satwa. You can check again a social audit report lying on ACC page. I personally did it, even if it was not mandatory, for 5 consecutive years. 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And for all expenses. Law says here, if the project is more than once year, you are bound to do. 14 I did for all expenses, all project, all location. And Satwa was a consultant to us. They help us in a big, because it was designed by me, but I make it as a way it has it like a third party kind of. 5 years I did. Then we learned a lot and started improving at each step. And it has gone. And there was a time in 2018, ACC by spending 19 crores, figure out as top 10 on top 10 with respect to CSR and sustainability by IM Udaipur study. It was a study with them, done by them, and who was below us, those were 700, 800 crores. So for me, CSR is not how much you are spending, how qualitatively, strategically, innovatively you are spending is important. Last question of yours was SROI. SROI again as a tool, like I did it through social audit methods, objective remaining same. You can do SROI. SROI is a Western concept wherein we have to put a rupee term to each of your work. It boils down at the end, for each rupee spent of your project, how much it has yielded on ground results. Suppose you have spent 5,000 for a student to get trained, got a skill, get a job, earn, and also increase the quality of life to the family. छोटे सिबलिंग को पढ़ाया, मम्मा का हेल्थ का केयर लिया, all those things taken care. So it is calculated. There is a system to calculate it. No, it will come like in scaling 1:10 plus kind of thing. This is one of doing it, but Indian concept, I'm not 100% agreeing to that standard because India में a lot of emotion are attached to a lot of things. And how do I convert that emotion? किसी का खुशी को मैं रुपए में कैसे कन्वर्ट करूं, मुझे अभी तक समझ में नहीं आया. बट येट ये टूल टू बी लुक्ड आफ्टर. इफ यू नो यू कैन गेट इट डन through SRI, please go ahead and do. And it is acceptable most globally. SRI report, you can get it is acceptable globally. You can easily reach out to your client, investors, whoever is asking for this, and they gladly accept it's a good things to do, to be done. And anyway, social audit you do or SRI or any other method must be done for impact assessment because it's a bigger project and it is give lesser time you can know where to improve and how to improve. that feedback will come from the third party.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. I'll be adding a couple of points on to complement your statements. See, SROI basically just, I mean, for the audience understanding, right? So you invest 100 rupees for a particular initiative, right? So you need to translate that to a quantitative amount, how much returns that you're getting from a social point of view. So that's what social return on investment actually means, right? For each and every rupee that you're spent, how much returns you are gaining. So that is that's basically concept. And here this is applicable to I mean returns can be negative or positive. If it is a negative SROI, it is like not viable kind of initiative, and if it is a positive, and if it is allowed, and it is written and it's positive for us. And second one is the SROI needs to be calculated for the initiatives which are beyond 1 year, right? So if I start an initiative today, and in next 3 months, if I I mean it lasts only for 3 months, then there is no point in calculating SROI because it's very short term. So SRO is applicable majorly for long term initiatives, and which is beyond 1 year, 2 years basically. That's when you get more SROI. The longer the initiative, and the returns are more. It's like that. And secondly, on the regulations, Pastor, like how have you seen in the last 10 years the significance and its contribution, CSR's contribution in the sustainability point of view?
So this is a regular debate going on across all our fraternity. So my fraternity on CSR sustainability, when we loosely talk, we say कि भारत सरकार के बोलते हैं आप 2% आप टैक्स ले लो अलग से, लेकिन जान छुड़ा दो CSR लॉ से. The only act in last 10 years has gone multiple amendments, as if हमारे सरकारों के पास, हमारे बाबू के पास कुछ काम ही नहीं है, वो हाथ धो के पीछे पड़े CSR एक्ट के पीछे में. The only act, you look at any constitution, there are a lot of requirements, but this is the act which has gone multiple changes. And now they say the project cannot be more than 3 years plus year of commencement. किसी ने किसी कंपनी ने गरीब बच्चों के लिए मान लो पंजाब में स्कूल खोल दिया, 4 साल में स्कूल बंद कर दे. आपने हॉस्पिटल बना दिया, या स्पोर्ट्स कॉम्प्लेक्स बना दिया. नॉर्मली इफ यू टेक ए किड एट द एज ऑफ 10, वो ओलंपिक जा पाएगा कि नहीं पाएगा, वो 18-20 के बाद पता चलेगा. 4 साल में बंद कर दें प्रोजेक्ट. हमारे कुछ बाबू लोग हैं बैठ के नॉर्थ ब्लॉक साउथ ब्लॉक में यही करते रहते हैं. तो प्रोजेक्ट हो गया, 3 years प्लस ईयर कमेंसमेंट है आज के डेट में. यू कैन नॉट हैव मोर देन दैट. CSR प्रोजेक्ट एनी से. अभी हम क्या, अभी एनजीओ पार्टनर को भी वही बोलते हैं, उसको घर लगता है, लेकिन क्या करें, बट वी हैव टू गो बाय कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. तो दिस आर लाइक सम ऑफ द bigger challenges when decision maker doesn't listen to ground zero and start writing something ना, वो इधर उधर कुछ जाएगा. There is no other way out. And second, now good thing is like we said, impact assessment part. That's a good thing that has came out. It's like mandatory. Earlier we were doing voluntarily, but the smaller projects are ruining out. There are a lot of corporate I have seen. They said, because our CSR budget is huge, we will not entertain any NGO whose annual turnover is not less than 30 crores. There are corporates. अभी छोटे NGOs बोलते हैं हम कितना भी अच्छा काम कर ले, we will not able to get fund from them, and they are sitting on 1,000 crores, but they cannot give us 50 lakhs also. They only give to the NGOs those were or in writing. उनका NGO selection process में they put it on writing and it is placed on the. So this act also is yielding some negativity in the ecosystem. This is some of the negativity. I don't know how to get rid of that, but that's part of life today.
Audience, any questions? Yeah.
Somebody was saying, raising hand on the back. आपसे भी पहले सर, आपसे पहले किसी ने raise किया था हाथ.
Yeah.
So this question is for Mr. Pratyush. You gave some very good examples how financial benefit was shown or displayed so that a certain environmental impact which was occurring was prevented, right? Now, to convince a C-suite or a board to do certain things, financial parameter is one aspect or one way to do at it, right? When what I understand as sustainability or ESG in broader terms would be what is the right thing to do, right? To my end customer or to my employees, right? And there are certain parameters which cannot be the financial correlation cannot be shown directly, right? So as someone who leads the entire sustainability aspect of an organization, how do you convince a C-suite or a board of directors to embed this thought process into their decision making? What kind of challenges have you seen, and how have you how have you tried to address them?
So again, got your point. Got your point. One is, as our moderator says, SRI is a tool. It can convert anything and everything into rupee term. So you can get it converted. It's scientifically proven. We agree or disagree with each other, that's different, but that's a process to it. We can get it done. But I agree with you, there are certain parameters. I should not convert also. Even if it is possible, I should not convert. Like happiness and all, a lot of things are there. And you heard ना, doctor says multi-drug therapy, MDT. So when doctor get confused in Mumbai कि चिकनगुनिया है कि मलेरिया है कि नॉर्मल फीवर है, वो क्या करता है, मल्टी एंटीबायोटिक पकड़ा देता है आपको. मतलब मलेरिया का भी मेडिसिन है उसमें, चिकनगुनिया का भी है, एंटीबायोटिक्स है, मरीज को ठीक होने को मांगता है बस. So it is your job to help your C-suite players to get understood what you are saying. Whether you approach only through happiness or also through SRO is your call. But आपका काम उधर कराना है. You are the catalyst. Unless you get it done, fireball will not roll. Fire ही नहीं लगेगा उसमें के बाद. So it is our job to get it done. There are multiple ways to get it done. If there is existing example in house, if same thing happened somewhere else, you can cite that example. Sir, 5 साल पहले ऐसा इंसिडेंस हुआ था X लोकेशन में हमारी कंपनी में, थोड़ा पता कर लेना, he was handling. These were the major outcomes. Like when we did this Jamul plant fatality free, we showed them our Madhukarai plant near Coimbatore, what has happened. और उसके बाद कितना political issues हुआ था. And then in 10 years, anywhere that has happened in Chhattisgarh, what has happened? क्योंकि fatality होना बड़ा बात नहीं है. उसके बाद जो cost to the company है, it is not in lakhs and crores. कि उसको मुआवजा दे दिया 10 लाख is not important. पहले तो एक दिन आपका साइट प्लांट बंद हो जाता है, रनिंग प्लांट, उसका 5 करोड़ का डायरेक्ट फटका है टू रीस्टार्ट. और रनिंग प्लांट, सीमेंट प्लांट टू स्टॉप एंड रीस्टार्ट इज 5 करोड़. तो कुछ हो गया तो 5 करोड़ गया. तो अभी सेफ्टी में यहाँ पे आधा करोड़ खर्च करने में क्या फर्क पड़ता है. सो लाइक नो प्रॉप्स. इफ यू गो टू होलसीम, दे डोंट डू मास्क लगा के हाई राइज में काम करते मम्मी देखे नहीं. दे विल गो टू स्केप फोल्डिंग ओनली. जो अप्रूव्ड स्केप फोल्डिंग वही लगेगा, बांस रस्सी नहीं लगेगा, वो कभी भी स्लिप हो सकता है. सो उसमें ज़्यादा कॉस्ट नहीं लगता है. बांस का कॉस्ट था, अभी स्टील का कॉस्ट आ गया. रेंटल, देयर माइनर चेंजेस, बट टाइम लगता है थोड़ा उसमें. सो इट इज़ आवर जॉब, यू राइटली सेड, गेट देम अंडरस्टूड, बट वो अपना स्किल्स है. एंड फॉर दैट यू हैव टू लर्न ए लॉट, एंड टू लर्न यू हैव टू पुट योर माइंड, फिंगर, हेड ऑन ग्राउंड जीरो ऑन डेली बेसिस.
Any more questions?
Hi. So my question is also directed towards Pratyush. So in the initial part of the conversation, you were speaking about how you renamed the CSR committee into ESG committee, wherein you said CSR would be one part of it, right, on the whole decision-making scenario. I want to understand, how does that board function? And is there any coherence between CSR strategy, which you're spending 2% of your funds, and integrating the entire ESG into your organization, right? So one, is there a coherence between these two things? Second, is it the same person who is the ESG head and the CSR head in the organization? Because I do see a lot of people who are leading both of these things, and when I look at their portfolio, they're either from a finance background, who would not understand these intricacies, right? So I'm just a little puzzled because I've been in the sector for quite many years now. Want to understand how does this board functions? Thanks.
हवा खोल रही है सेक्टर का. You are right. Lot of companies are doing that because of somebody says, "I'm passionate about CSR or ESG. Let me." Good. Your passion is well appreciated, but you have to be professionally equipped as well. If you have not till date, you equipped and then approach this as individual ethics. Company has to also take care. When you come out with such position, if you are giving chance to internal people, take it a round time interview and check credentials on those lines, take commitment, and also build up their capacity if required, old timer. Build them, send them to 9 months master course here. One of my CSR employees doing very well in Bangalore, senior person. मैं बोला तू जा पढ़ के आ पहले इधर ESG. He knows CSR good. ESG में काम कर, but because I am heading both, and I want my team to be hand in gloves for both the sector. They will not say otherwise like in government of India or state government, X department, Y department एक साथ काम करते हैं ना. बॉम्बे में एक आके खोद के चले जाता है, एक आके भर के चले जाता है. They don't know who is doing what. This is also happening in CSR and sustainability sector. To have better coherent, person must know both sides. So then you realize what is my step 1 and what is my step 2. If you do other way around, there is a fatka to the company. Both way, not only money wise, also reputation wise outside. So one has to grow. Vinod was passionate. I said you have to professionally grow. That company need to spend on those lines to get it done. And as you said, a lot of people handling both. I see a lot of good results out of that. So I'm going back to same from 1 lakh to 16 lakhs of plantation. I asked my CSR team, now you do livelihood for the farmers only through plantation, fruit bearing plantation. They can do easily. And if I go take the carbon credit from there, possible, na? They were not doing, they're having sitting on money, but they were not, because 2% heading, they will, have some kind of intellectual debate within and some kind of competition within, and company is suffering. At the same time, society or environment is also suffering. So if somebody is up having both the skills, it's good, but getting those spaces are very limited in India, what I have realized, to be very frank. People do not want to, grow up on multiple sectors. मुझे क्या double तनख्वाह मिलता है? People ask this question also. So if you ask, ठीक है. Hope I have answered. About boardroom, what was the question?
Yeah, I mean, my point was, larger point is, if there are two people, how do you sort of coherently work together to deliver that impact? And when you said कि मैं carbon credit भी ले लूँगा जो plantation में CSR fund से कर रहा हूँ, is that right? Compliance wise, because that's CSR fund and not probably the.
But there is no money back to you, na?
Yeah, it's not.
There is not money back to you. It is not falling on your normal course of business. Plantation is done in somebody's private property.
Correct.
For him, it's a lifetime asset.
Right.
उसके लिए 30 साल या 50 years का livelihood है. No issues. Legally भी no issues.
Got your
And going to government land and all, you will not get site to plant. Even if you are ready to spend money, I have tried in Bombay for mangroves. Finally, I landed up with Mamta Didi at Sundarban. Seriously.
Yeah.
BMB, through BNB. We are doing it there. They have given everything in one go. And ठीक है, अब गवर्नमेंट नहीं कोऑपरेट करे तो क्या कर सकते हैं हम लोग? I was trying to get it done somewhere in backwater in our area itself, but ठीक है.
Yeah, okay.
So one is from, both are from Kalpesh Patel. So his first question is, this is always the case that there is no clear distinction between ESG and CSR, and sometimes these both can be misinterpreted. Is there any thumb rule to identify and distinguish between the same?
So Kalpesh do not distinguish separately. These are the two sides of the coin. So you cannot, rather you should not do it also. Rather you try to see that how company can benefit out of both. Is 1 + 1 not 2? If you can make it as a catalyst to 11. That should be your approach. And ambiguity, it comes to our mind if I am not subject matter expert, both way. If I have learned CSR, I am not learned ESG or other way around, the ambiguity will come. So that dilemma will be there in the mind. So that's what I'm saying. Professionally grow up yourself. So that's the only way we can be on the trend and bring back best value to our own company. If that is there, there will be no ambiguity in your mind what I'm doing is right or wrong. It's very clearly visible to you and you can easily convince people also.
The second question is from Mr. Naveen. If a company places too much energy into ESG objectives, it risks competitiveness, losing its focus on growth, market share, and profits. It could struggle to compete against companies from countries with less rigorous standards such as China.
To some extent, initially, yes, what he's saying. Initially, it might look like a big investment, but if you can calculate nicely, you can see the visibility of your buyback of all those, what you call that investment. You know, it's like an investment for future, not like one time go on those lines. And this bounce back very fast to ESG investment, bounce back very fast to the company. I have personally seen, I strongly believe spending on those lines, not necessarily always to the bottom line. At times, I'll give you example of a committee. I was there at Kharagpur. That was site land park was there. Government of West Bengal was trying to give it to companies. So lot of tussles. So they organized a meeting with the Gram Panchayat without taking the companies. And they read it out, ministry read it out. These are the 10 proposals came for this parcel of land. Already have sold it to Government of West Bengal. We want to give to somebody whom you believe कि कौन अच्छा कर पाएगा. It's boiled down to one company name. And when you look at the ESG portfolio, they are far ahead than others. And this company was not there in that 300 kilometer radius. And villager unanimously passed Gram Panchayat, you can give 2x. Plant has started without any tussle. So your ESG also helps you when you go for the new project, greenfield to the investors, all those places.
Social license to operate.
Absolutely.
Any other questions?
So one simple question, because people are now, a lot of communication in terms of ESG and CSR are separate. But according to me, ESG is a bigger arm and CSR is part of ESG. If you see, a lot of companies have actually moved from CSR to ESG. Their reporting has been changed. So actually CSR is not a separate entity. If you call it CSR, there is a team for CSR, there is a team for ESG, not possible. Because S is a part which CSR is actually there. So I don't see, there can be a miscommunication in terms of what is ESG and what is CSR. It should be embedded in ESG itself. First thing is that. And second part is, Indian companies, a lot of Indian companies are doing a lot of things. But not a single company, Indian company, is now coming forward with saying that we are following UN goal. 17 goals are there. So why that is so? Whether L&T is doing that or not. If not, then are you planning to do that?
3-4 questions at a time. First one you're saying ESG and CSR.
Yes.
This is again corporate gimmick. Old wine, new bottles. So sometimes they will say triple P, people, profit, planet, ESG, enough. 3P has gone from the market. Sustainability word is dying out. ESG is picking up. It is old wine, new bottle. You are fundamentally correct. सबको हाँ बोलो, अच्छा सर सही बोल रहे हो. But keep doing what is fundamentally correct, what you have studied and done. So उसमें आप घुसिए मत कि कौन किसका सबसेट है या अलग है. Nothing in isolations. And society and environment goes hand in hand. For nature, for individual also. Forget about company. है ना? आप कहाँ घर बनाना पसंद करेंगे? जहाँ वेदर अच्छा होगा ना, है कि नहीं? अभी Mumbai prices going up. People from Delhi started investing in Mumbai. Future में कभी I'm telling you, रहना पड़ेगा. This thought has started. गुड़गांव से लोग इधर इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं, अभी नहीं रह रहे. Because of environment. So there is no isolation. Society and environment goes hand in hand. वो अच्छा कब करेगा? जब गवर्नेंस अच्छा होगा. गवर्नेंस मतलब उसको जो गवर्न कर रहा है, जो उसमें मालिकाना हक जाता है. जैसे हम लोग सुनते हैं ना, फलाना राजा किंग था तो वो इतना अच्छा था, इसके टाइम में वर्स्ट था. अकबर को लोग अच्छा बोलते हैं, औरंगजेब को बुरा बोलते हैं. बोलते हैं ना नहीं, बोथ फ्रॉम द एक डायनेस्टी. क्यों? ये ऐसे ही चीज है. अगर आप उसका गवर्नेंस अच्छा था, अकबर के रूप में गवर्नेंस अच्छा रहा होगा, आज लोग अच्छा बोल जाते हैं. हिस्ट्री में हम लोग जो पढ़ते हैं, इनके यहाँ बुरा रहा होगा तो उनको बुरा बोला जाता है. No, G part was correct. Some of the old time I can goes to my mind. जो milestone हम देखते हैं, बोला जाता है ये twice इंडिया में स्टार्ट हुआ था. एक अशोका के टाइम में हुआ था, उसके बाद अकबर के टाइम में हुआ था. जो milestone, जो मेजरमेंट होता है ना लैंड का, ये उनके रिकॉर्ड किसी का दिखता नहीं है. उन्होंने तकलीफ लिया, वो भी आलिशान शेखो सानो शौकत रहते, मुझे क्या करना माइलस्टोन से, रहने दे, तो नहीं होता शायद. सो दिस आर, ये गिमिक में मत घुसिए आप उसको देखिए कि जो सही है वो आपको करना है. ESG में क्या है, रिपोर्टिंग में जब आता है अभी उसको देखना है कि ई में रिपोर्ट करूं कि एस में करूं कि जी में करूं. आप लोगों को किसी को भी कन्फ्यूजन नहीं होगा यहाँ पे. अभी मेरे स्टूडेंट जो सुन रहे हैं उनको भी कन्फ्यूजन नहीं होगा कि किसको कहाँ रिपोर्ट करें. यही तो ESG और क्या. आई एम टेलिंग अगेन, नो रॉकेट साइंस. पुट योर रैशनल ब्रेन, बिफोर दैट आप अपना गवर्नेंस देखिए कि मैं कैसे उसको अच्छे से पढ़ के समझ पाऊँ चीज़ों को. ट्राई टू रिलेट ऑन ग्राउंड. इसको बेस्ट मेरे कंपनी के लिए मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ, हो पाएगा, होता है. बाकी मार्केट में गिमिक चलता रहेगा. दैट्स पार्ट ऑफ. कुछ लोग हैं उनका ब्रेड एंड बटर उसी में है, उनको भी कमाने दीजिए.
Yeah, rightly said. Before, sorry, yeah,
I missed it. अच्छा, UN goal, like at my company, we are signatory of UNGC. Signed after my joining, and money, everything is debited, and 2 years a report has been submitted. Personally, if you look at my SDG goal, again, if you look at CSR, ACC policies now also, CSR policy, it's a 42-page document. One page talks about each of the 9 projects marked to CSR rules, what is the Schedule 7. In other way, it was connected to SDGs. Within SDGs, out of 169 targets, what are the targets were working? And quarterly internal report was generated by my team also, mostly younger team. And annually we used to report also. कोई पढ़े ना पढ़े, हमारे वेबसाइट में, UN वेबसाइट में, UNGC वेबसाइट में हम डाल देते थे. बट अगेन, मैं करके रिपोर्ट करूँ ना करूँ, किया इज मोर इम्पोर्टेंट फॉर माई एनवायरमेंट, माई सोसाइटी. रिपोर्ट कर रहा है तो नो डाउट बहुत अच्छी बात है, बट मैं तो बोलता हूँ रिपोर्ट कोई ना करे बट काम तो करे पहले ग्राउंड में.
To add in a point regarding SDGs, right? So SDG goals are, those are intended for nation goals, right? So country has targets, not the companies. Companies basically, yeah. So that's an indirect thing.
That's how if I am a company, I want to.
Right. I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. So that's majorly countries' targets and goals, 17 goals and 169 targets, right? So what is the major contribution for countries' development? So it's organizations or economic development is through companies only. So companies are taking for a step in aligning themselves with the nation's targets. That's how every company has started mapping SDGs with their all the initiatives. So ऐसे धंधा चल रहा है अभी. It's become like that.
So indirectly it is.
Yeah.
We both are again talking same thing. What he is saying, one country takes target, it's not that our prime minister will do alone. That will divide it in between the state, department, corporate, NGOs, everybody. And whatever comes to my portfolio, I must do it. Precisely. And हम सब करेंगे तभी country का achieve होगा.
Right. So one last question to both the panelists. It's a common question to both of you. So what are the steps that a company should take to be ESG compliant? I don't want to use the word compliant here. ESG adherence, right? So there's a lot of frameworks or a lot of non-financial performance requirements by various standards and frameworks. So what are the steps that needs to be taken in order to be more ESG adherent across the global standards? So what are your thoughts on that? So what step needs to be taken?
So actually ESG, if you see, as we have been discussing, it is first of all it is simply beyond compliance. So if you see, any legal regulations, so you have to go beyond legal regulations and to fulfill your ESG goals. And as I was mentioning previously, that company has to see that where they stand and where they want to go. It's not that what others are doing. So that's why it is important that you prepare your baseline on each aspects, the environment, social, governance. And I was just listening the conversations. We are mostly telling about CSR and environment, but this is not. This is only 30% or 40% of ESG. So there are many aspects which we are just missing. Discussing about CSR. CSR is, if you see the GRI standard, CSR out of 37, only one requirement is social or CSR. C means out of 37, only one. And again, environment is 5 or 6. So you see how many things we are missing in the discussion. So that's why you have to understand that it is not about CSR and environment. Maybe 20 years back it was there, 5 years, 10 years back. So as becoming a CSR professional doesn't mean that you are able to drive the ESG. So you have to understand many aspects, and not only just combining the CSR and environment or ESG person, but you have to connect with many aspects like supply chain. Your procurement team has to be with you. So you cannot have expertise on everything, and you cannot bring the procurement expert into your ESG team. Similarly on HR, so gender diversity and many human rights, many things are there. So you cannot be expert in everything. So that's why you just are first is networking, how you are networked with the outer world, how you are imbibing the knowledge from the outer world in the ESG trend. That is first of your requirement as you are growing professionals, or even for myself. And second is how you are influencing. So having this understanding of the global requirements, how you are influencing not only your MD, but the lowest employee in your organization, how he is influenced or she is influenced towards this ESG goal of the company. So then only you will be successful. Not that we only convince the board or the managing director that this is the ESG goal, but each and every individual of the company should be convinced to create the ESG culture. Then only there will be a success. And that's why two things I am trying to mention here. One is networking, so that you gain all the experience, all the knowledge. Second is influencing, not only the top management, but your peers. Like I am present here, so how a simple influence I am able to give to any of you. Similarly, how influenced I am from you. So that is actually just creating the multiplier effect. So that two things I'd like to mention to effectively implement your ESG strategy, not just going by the ESG buzzword. So thank you, Mr.
साहब खड़े हैं तो
that is a privilege given.
Just taking a small clue on how this can be grounded, supply chain. So I call it Sustainable Procurement Initiative. So you go to any company, ask the CEO, ask him to give your credit card, ask him to go, sir, आप जाइए Palladium में अपने लिए सूट लेके आइए. What he'll do? He'll take the best one, isn't it? Ask the same person to get it done through office for himself, same purpose. He'll get it done L1. ये truth है. You check it. Same person, if given an individual choice, he'll go for the best. Same person, given through a route, he'll go for L1. The concept of L1, everybody knows. छोटा से छोटा company बन से. I made it a small change. I call it S1 L1. So don't buy any product who doesn't pass from my index on S1, means sustainability 1. Suppose IT company, we procure thousands and thousands of laptops. So we check LC and certify these 5 are matching to our standards. You bargain these 5. So they may not be the L1. वो थोड़ा ऊपर भी हो सकता है. But first they have to pass the S1. And then procurement will bargain with them. Job of the ESG heads and the team. If you don't do, अरे वो procurement काम है हमारा नहीं है छोड़ो. सैलरी मिलता है प्रत्युष को भी नहीं करके भी मिलेगा ना, कोई इश्यूज नहीं, बट कंपनी खाचे हुए जाती है. सेकेंड एग्जाम्पल, आई कुड सी ऑल माई सीनियर्स गोइंग ऑन एग्जीक्यूटिव ट्रैवल्स, 1 week France, 2nd week Zurich, third week, XYZ. So when I checked, they don't decide, the secretary decides. So I created a training program for the secretaries on how to book tickets and all, along with my ticket booking team. So we said, you book your boss in a way, he goes to Zurich, Geneva, and Paris and come back, 4 days. And for seniors, if they are back on the weekdays they are working, they can take week off during. At the same time, I trained my ticket booking team, which are the flights as for these days. If you go to Indigo ticket also domestic, it doesn't come only with price. Have you seen? GHG emission आता है ना, लेकिन देख के डिसाइड करते हो क्या? प्राइस देखते हैं ना, उसको भी देखा करो थोड़ा. How much I am emitting? You look at my last post on LinkedIn. मैंने क्या लिखा है? Those who have gone for COP27. So उसको जब चेक किया तो अभी now my seniors, including my CEOs, instead of having 4 tickets, 4 sector, in 3 sector they are coming and reaching. How much is reduced? Almost 25%. Humanly possible. They are getting 1 day off for the family also because they have spent Saturday or Sunday outside. It's possible, and this is all that you have to put on ground zero. Just to. Sorry, sir.
No,
Yeah.
I was asking moderator's permission.
So I have a question from a slightly more macro perspective. We've spoken a lot today about how ESG is beyond compliance. And as you very correctly mentioned, in society till certain fatalities don't happen, we don't tend to act. We kind of always react as a society. Even if you look at history and you see the trajectory of something as simple as air travel and how it changed, after 9/11, and then you look into, from an environmental perspective, how we started to take measures once the world started to fall apart. And now, even if you look at the age of data where we are in right now, once COVID hit and people started working from home, we look at a matter of data privacy due to data leakages. It always seems like we're behind the curve. Are we just doomed as a race, or is there a way to actually get ahead?
No, in certain things, we are far ahead of race. Especially with respect to, if you said lockdown, COVID and all, we are far ahead of other countries. Both in terms of managing 140 crores people, to be very frank. All said and done, a lot of people will talk nonsense about the state government everywhere, but it was in control as compared to US, UK and other places. Number one, we must appreciate ourselves, our government. Second, with respect to, that was short term. Long term, vaccination, again, we are far ahead of a lot of companies are depending on. And that's the reason today government of India could play easily between the ongoing war. Ongoing war, both the countries are trying to keep India on their side, and India is taking a middle stand and playing very easily, yet getting cheaper fuel and having bilateral relation both way with the US group and also this side on a more or less same pace. So we're some area we are always far ahead, that we need to appreciate. हमको ऐसा लगता है कि गोरे चिट्टे आदमी उधर से फिरंग कुछ बोल देता है ना, तो हम लोग बोलते हैं कि यार ये सही बोलता है, not necessarily. No, I'm coming to that. I'm coming to your part. Pure sustainability examples also I'll give you. So, coming back to on sustainability parameters, so you look at your daily life. We all somewhere 2 or 3 generations back, or even in my generation, we are around villages, isn't it? Today also an Indian villager footprint, carbon footprint is 1/10 of a person living in Bombay and Delhi. And what is the percent of people staying there today? They are far ahead than the carbon footprint being produced by a US citizen or a UK citizen. Only thing is we need to recognize and appreciate. In somebody doesn't come inside with a blazer, हमको लगेगा कि कौन आदमी है, may not be a speaker, participant होगा. That's it. हुलिया देख के हम उसके औकात का पता लगाने की कोशिश करते हैं, not looking at his mental strength. Nobody will go and try to talk to the person of this kind. ये होता है बहुत बार, मैंने भी देखा हुआ है. Is this lack? We are just getting adapted to the all Western concepts. Some of them are rubbish things I'm telling you. I had 2 old passport full when I was working for UN and Care, moving out and all as a youth, even a red passport. I have seen they are good on documentation. हम जो बोल रहे हैं will do on ground, but they will document and put in the website. बोलेंगे इस कंपनी का फुटप्रिंट वो कितना अच्छा है. If you go down, you hardly find anything there. So and we are our good part is the emotional intelligence of Indians are far better. Why Rishi Sunak is well appreciated in Europe and UK today. Everybody knows. He proudly say Indians. I'm an Indian. He proudly say my in-laws are now also there in Bangalore in India. Yet appreciated. Na? That's the emotional intelligence he bringing in the table, which is not found these days in the Western mindset. Because that is again, this trend also in India is growing down. In our society where we stay, my daughter started cleaning the stairs. One day she saw some nails were going. So people say, hey, Pihu, why you are doing? Hold on. Security. Getting a point? So we define that this is cleanliness, sanitation is not my job. There is a grade 4 to do it. We lack there. This we all learning. Same thing you go down to a smaller township, go to village, people try to do same thing by them. I'll give you an example of my classmate in Gurgaon. He was owner of 300 trucks, lorries. And this person, mother, with 30 tola sona, used to sell sabzi in the Gurgaon and nearby weekly markets till grandmother was alive. उसको पूछ लो अम्मा क्यों आती है बात मैं क्या करूं इसी में तो सबको पढ़ाया लिखा है ना अनुज को भी इसी में डाला आज उसके लरी तो क्या है 300 मैं तो इसको नहीं छोड़ती 4 लेबर लेके आएगी बैठेगी 30 तोला सोना में बैगन बेचेगी till she died she did it with all joy but abhi nahi hota that trend is going down and we are damaging our own best practices on ESG that's what sorry
Thank you very much, sir, for your personal experiences that you have shared with us. Your professional experience which you have shared. So even for the audience, I believe they understood. What are the key points of or areas of focus areas wherein they need to focus upon in order to make a company ESG adherence and improve in their ESG performance. I believe everyone has understood at least the essence of our discussion for the last 1.5 hour. Maybe in the next 3 months you'll be learning more in detail. And thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, panelists, for your time and your great inputs.
read, work, and learn. That's it.
One more big round of applause for the practicality of the ESG. And yes, to the ground zero, he has been taking us to the ground zero, that let's be at there and implement. Thank you very much.
And one more with our co-panelists.
Yeah, and picture. Okay, now we proceed with the tea break, and I guess 15 minutes or half an hour. 15 minutes should be fine. No, 15 minutes should be fine because we are here to learn, and at promulgated time we will be back so that we can finish in time. Thank you very much.